Hey there guys, what's going on? How are you doing? This is Wiggle speaking, and today we have another tier list for the killers. And last time I had one of these videos, it actually went really well, and it had, it had tremendous support. It was really nice and kind of you, and so I was like, let's do another one. How about that? So yeah, make sure to watch it and tune in for the whole video. I am going to go over every single killer, including the new killer artist. And also, I am game for any kind of debate or opinions, suggestions about the tier list. Last time I had some positive ones and some negative ones. I had some talking and discussions with those people. And it was actually really nice. I loved how sophisticated people talked about it. It was brilliant, and I really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to it. So make sure to watch the whole video. I hope you enjoy the tier list, and make sure to subscribe, leave a like, a comment. It will really help me out. And yeah, let's jump right into it. All right. How about this? How about I just do this and just say nothing? Do you like that? Do you enjoy that? Just that's it, right? She's the best. It's not gonna change, because as long as she's the only killer that can go through walls, I mean, artists can do shit like that, quite similar, but she can't go through things. She can't do it herself. She can't damage them necessarily. Nurse is just too good. But I love the fact that she's not easy to, even if you're a good nurse, you will miss blinks. You will get some bad maps with a lot of obstacles and a lot of side blockers. So she's not crazy, but she's the model of what a killer should be, because she requires a lot of movement from survivors, a lot of decision makings, things that decision making is something that you don't see a lot when you're playing a survivor. For killer, it's a lot because you're not a team, you're just a person, and nurse forces survivors to make hard decisions, and that's why I like her, and she's the best, no question about that. And I'm not gonna waste time. I'm just gonna go over I'm not gonna make this video super long just because I'm scratching her balls. The next killer, this might be a little bit of a controversy, but I think artist is actually quite insane. She's insane. I mean, yeah, let's look at her base kit. She has some crows. She can fly them wherever. And the thing is, those crows are fucking global. They're fucking global, dude. They can go wherever. And when the game starts, you can find yourself against, like, I don't know, 7 generators in a map. Let's say you have a corrupt in your kit, so you know only 4 of them are going to be worked at. So you can patrol a couple of gens, like 2 of them, and then throw crows at the other 2. That saves you a trip. You don't have to go to those gens anymore, because the speed of these crows are just insane, and you can tell that there is no way that survivors have dodged it, because they're gonna be caught off guard, and that's huge information, huge. And also, you can start the game. I think she's kid is going to be kind of like Huntress, a killer that has a lot of information perks rather than, I don't know, pop and ruin, and I don't know, maybe corrupt and stuff like that. I think she's going to be revolved around information, such as nurse calling, I mean, bitter murmur, barbecue, stuff like that. Even Lethal Pursuer, maybe the game starts and you hit someone, you mark them, and that's good. That's actually viable and wonderful to me. But the thing is that she can just put so much pressure. I've seen videos of this killer, and I have played this killer, and I've been chasing 2 survivors at the same time. I'm hitting one of them, I'm chasing one of them, and I see the other one, a little bit of a glance in the, in the edge. I just rotate towards them, send some crows, and they have to deal with that. And that's crazy. I think she's probably the first killer that can chase survivors without, and she doesn't have to reload. She doesn't have to wait, and that's perfect. You can she's better than Huntress because she's global. I know she cannot hit you through she can hit you through walls, but she can damage you. The power is so much easier because of the fact that the Huntress, when you're throwing hatchets, you might hit some weird shit, hitbox that doesn't even exist. I mean, the car ends here, you throw a hatchet here, and it still hits the car. It's bullshit. And she doesn't have any of that. The crows just go through shit. It's just bullshit. It's unbelievable how strong she is. But a couple of things that are I think actually she needs some nerfs. The first nerf that I think is actually quite necessary is that if you hit a survivor, they should be unmarked, just like Ghostface, that when you mark a survivor as exposed and then you hit them without exposing them, the bar resets. So now if artist hits you while you're marked by her crows, the crows will stand there. It's perfectly fine, and the survivor, I think, gets this interrupted in the action of impaling and shit. So that's bullshit. She's actually quite strong and annoying. I mean, yeah, she's hard and all that, but with the right perks, with the right plays made, she's just too strong. She has so much pressure on the survivor's part. Like, even Deerstalker could be a good perk on her. Just imagine that some people are downed and you just face, your crows at them and just wait. You don't activate them, you just wait, you go around, and at some point they will be detonated and bam, you hit someone. That's weird. She's way too strong, and I think she deserves her place. As I said, it might be a little bit of a controversy, and I would be happy to convince you that she's actually really strong, but that's it for the most part for the artist. I think she's going to do real well, and she doesn't even need add-ons. That's what I love about her kit. Like, DBD needs killers that don't need add-ons. Add-ons should make you better. They shouldn't make you standard. Like, if you're bad and your add-ons make you a little bit better, that's not a good killer. But if you're good and your add-ons make you better, hands down, that's a good killer. And artist, I think she can do that. The next killer is the Blight. Now, personally, I have a lot of respect for Blight. The only problem that you will face with Blight somewhat constantly is bumping into things weirdly. Sometimes you don't even bump to them and the game counts it as a bump, bumping. And sometimes you just squeeze through some weird angles that you're pretty sure you have to just slide through a wall. That's bullshit. Blight is super fast. He has brilliant mobility. He's really lethal. In chases, he just doesn't give you a lot of space to work with. He can patrol. When I say he's obviously a dude. He can patrol gens in a matter of seconds, and some perks, some builds just make him crazy good. It's just not okay at some point. And I love playing Blight, and I love the fact that his add-ons are just absolutely crazy. And as I said, overall, things such as mobility, map control, slugging ability, and stuff like that, he's just too good in those things. The only problem with all of these S-tier killers, which is okay, it should be a problem, is that if you make mistakes, they're really punishing. Just like Nurse, if you miss 4 blinks in a row with a Nurse, if you don't get a hit in 4 blinks, you're probably going to lose 2 gens just for that. They're really punishing. And that's okay, because if you don't get punished, it's not fair in return of how much value you get out of their power. I mean, Nurse, her power is amazing. She's really lethal. Blight, his power is amazing. He can close, distances in a matter of seconds. He's super duper fast. But if you make a mistake by any means, if they get stun pallet, if they get to stun pallet you, I don't know, head on, like anything, if they stop you, you will lose a lot of time, because if you don't get hits out of your 5 charges of serums, the charges take a long time to recharge. And because of that fact, if you use, like, let's say you use 5 charges and you don't get a hit, and now you have to wait for 5 charges slowly recharging, and that's punishing. That's horrible. So you have to keep that in mind. He's not an easy killer, but hands down, he's wonderful. The next killer is the Spirit. Now, she had some downgrades in the tier list, at least in mine. Now, don't get me wrong, she's still really powerful. The thing is that now there are counterplays to her. For the Nurse, the reason that we always say is, what is wrong with me? She is S tier, and she's the best, is because of the fact that the counterplays don't really rely on the survivor's part. Yeah, they can do some shenanigans, they can trick you, they can break line of sight, and stuff like that, but overall, if she's good, there's not much you can do. That was mostly true for Spirit as well, because if she was phase walking, if she wasn't phase walking, you didn't know where she's coming from. Nothing was given to you. She was annoyingly strong just for the fact that you had about 0 information every time. If you miss, sometimes if you make Spirits miss their hits before the nerf, what I'm talking about, don't get full of yourself, because it's probably just luck. It's just probably luck. You didn't do all that good. I'm sorry, but that's probably true. Spirit is a kind of a hard killer. She needs a lot of attention, and for that, maybe she's not all that fun. I don't know. I don't know if you want to concentrate all that much on a video game, but if you want to do that, she's actually a viable killer. And right now, still, those players that are just wonderful, those players that are just really good at Spirit playing, are still going to crush it. But if you're just a normal player and you go against good ones, good survivors, there is actually a chance of losing really badly. She had a reasonable nerf that was needed, in my opinion, because she wasn't all that punishing. That was the thing about Spirit. She was slower than other killers, and she still is. But the thing is that if you would have probably gotten your power useful, and even if you wouldn't, the power wouldn't take as long as it should, and there was nothing like, if you come out of your phase walk, you will go for a huge launch attack, and there was no fatigue, there was no speed loss, nothing was going on. It was just a missed hit. That's it. You just whiffed. That's all. But now she has to be more mindful of her mind games. You can't just stand there as a Spirit anymore, like just leave the husk there and just do nothing, and survivors just run at you. There are survivors who just panic and go at you because they don't read patch notes, but still, the nerf was reasonable, but it hit hard, I think, for at least those who are not really brilliant Spirit players. The last of the tier killers is the Hag. Now, as I said before, this might be in my previous tier lists. I might have said that Hag is super strong, but maybe you don't agree with me or anything. But I think Hag is just annoyingly strong. The only part of S tier killers that is not all that hard is Hag, because it has it has an ending, educating Hag. Like, if you get to find those precise and wonderful spots for trapping, and that comes to your mind, right? After a while, like, yeah, I get it. For the first 10-20 matches, you just put some traps and they have no use, no meaning at all. But at some point you realize that, the pattern of survivors moving, so you just put their traps in better places and you learn it and you get used to that. And when you do, that's it probably. That's it for the most part. They're fucked. There's nothing they can do about it. She's just too strong, And I've seen people who just put, the teleporting ability on their mouse wheel and they just constantly move it around. Teleport, hit, that's it. It just keeps happening. And you just don't stop doing that. And she's just annoying in that. She's too strong. She can hit. She is one of the killers that can chase multiple survivors at the same time. But with the artist, when I said, it's you stay in the same area and you put pressure on them on the same area. But with the hag, you might have to give up a chase to go and hit somebody else. And sometimes it's a good idea. Mostly it's a good idea, but sometimes it's not a good idea. But the fact that you have to just put a maneuver and just change your position in the whole map is tricky. And it needs practice. But I think for the artist, she can chase a couple of survivors and she's just fine. There's nothing wrong going on there. And yeah, that's it for the most part about the hag. As I said, she's super strong, and once you get used to the teleports and the spots of them, she's just a beast. The next one is the Oni. The Oni is a kind of killer that, as I said before, has a shitty early game. Some killers need to build up, such as Shape and Oni and Nemesis, maybe for some part, not all that much, but a little bit. But the thing is how hard they hit once they get to that point, and Oni hits the hardest. Oni's power gives him mobility, lethality, good chase, everything. It's just too strong. And also, it has a niche to it. It has some downsides, such as getting really slow. Sometimes you're in a very important chase, your power runs out, you just go like, bah. And it's bad. Yeah, I get that. But first of all, he has one of those powers that just never ends. Like for Myers, if the game gets too long, you just run out of tier 3s. But with Oni, survivors are going to bleed out all the time. Some of them play, injured. They get cocky. They get hits for each other while they're healthy, of course. And you never run out of power. And it's actually not all that hard to get. It's easy actually. If you hit a healthy survivor, it gets about half of it done. And if you chase that guy for like 10-12 seconds, and that's it, you're good to go. You're good to go. And you can bring some perks to help with that, and that's it. You're gonna make it. He's really strong, he's really lethal, and for that I think she deserves this spot on the top of the A tier. And yeah, he's one of those killers that are just way too scary and strong. The next killer is a Russian lady, the Huntress. Now, still Huntress is one of the most standard killers in DBD. She remains that. She's always been that. She's strong, but hard. If you learn how to play her, you're good. If you learn those really tight angles, you're good. But if you don't, you need practice, and it's not all that hard. It's not all that easy. It's not for everybody. You have to just keep practicing. But for what she does in return of being really hard, she's actually good. She's actually really strong. And I love that about her. And she's one of those killers that can damage you throughout the whole map. As I said, she's kind of like Artist. Actually, Artist is kind of like Huntress. Going with some information perks, You have to be so good at, chasing that you don't even need gen regression. If you're good at your chases and you just don't fall for usual survivors tricks, such as just faking it, just slowing themselves at a pallet and then just keep running. If you don't fall for those, you're good to go, dude. You're gonna make some people cry about it. And I love that. And I love that about Huntress. She's really strong in that. She can damage basically the whole map. She has some really crazy add-ons which really help with her power. I love those. And overall, she's probably the best ranged killer in the game. If you consider Artist range killer, I don't know if you should. I think you should, right? Probably. Okay, she's the second best range killer in the game. But the thing is, Artist is not even 4.4. She's 4.6. She's not range, right? I don't know, man. She doesn't throw projectiles. They're just fucking crows. Shit just got interesting and confusing at the same time. But yeah, that's it about the Huntress. She's just a solid killer. The next one is the Plague. Now, for putting Plague this high, some people have been really surprised that where I put her in the tier list. Now, I know Plague is not that kind of a killer that you see all that often. And I've had comments about, some people said, thank you for putting respect into her name. I love that comment, by the way. But some people were like, what is she doing up there? Why wouldn't she be here? I don't get it. She's just way too good. She's just really strong. She just, because of some problems that she has and some, some things that were just hard about her. You know what? I actually want to do this. I'm actually going to change her with Huntress. Seriously. She's really strong. I don't know why people don't get the fact that Plague is actually a solid killer. She can make your medkit absolutely useless. And I don't know if you know about that, but medkits are the strongest items in the game. Now, considering that, healing only at the pools of devotion and at a cost of giving her a vile corrupted purge, boy, she's good. If she's one of those healers that given the opportunity, she can end the game in like 10 seconds. Because of the fact that in one charge, like imagine if Huntress could have hit 2 survivors with 1 hatchet. That's actually a good idea for a red add-on, probably, behavior. If Plague can damage multiple survivors at the same time. At unhooking, she can make everything so difficult and so complicated for survivors. And I love that, because constantly against Plague, you need to make some very, very important decisions. First of all, should I heal? Shouldn't I heal? Should I go to a pool? Do my friends need a unhook, need some help? What is going on in the game? And there are a lot of problems. And the problem is the fun begins at the part that whatever they do, Plague probably takes some advantage of that. I've seen people who said, just don't cleanse. That's not a good idea. That's not a good idea to play against a killer who can down you all the fucking time while you're injured and broken. You cannot heal, you cannot do shit, you just have to go to some pools. And if you do, she can just drink from that. And even if you don't go to those pools, she has some add-ons that can help her out, such as the apples and even the iridescent one that when you repair gen, it gets activated. It's not all that long, but it's still, it damages you. And also she had some quality of life attached to her, just the minimum charge added to her kit. And she's just overall really solid. I just don't get the arguments of saying that what's she doing up there? She's being killed. She's been chilling and killing, dude. What do you mean? The next killer that I think deserves a spot on the top tiers. Last time I put him in lower tiers because I thought he's not all that strong, but given some time and getting used to him, I actually think the potential to Pinhead is actually way too high. He's really strong, let me tell you that. First of all, he has some information kits, powers kind of shit that he can just check out at some places. You can just put a portal, and then even if you want to go further, you can just throw the chain and go up and just look around, and that's perfect. That's really powerful and strong. His chain hunt gives the survivors an actual second objective that they need to take care of, and if they mess up by any means, if they choose the positioning of themselves while solving it, you might actually be able to disrupt them, take the box, and make things even harder and more difficult for them. Pinhead, given the opportunity, can snowball a game really easy. He can put a lot of pressure on the survivors, and he does usually, and given some opportunities, making some delicate mistakes, he can just change the course of the game because of those very, very small changes, because of those very, very small mistakes that survivors make. And for all that, he's really strong. His add-ons are actually insanely good and insanely powerful. And in loops, he actually plays really well. You know, sometimes you're like, this is not gonna work, but then you gain so much distance. But I hate the fact that sometimes you just don't get any distance, and you don't know why. It was a good chain, it was a good chase, everything was going fine, but for some reason you cannot catch up. The only problem with Pinhead is that there is no credit for hitting really long shots. Yeah, I get it. Imagine you put your portal here and the survivor is right here. You just hit them. That's easy. That's super easy, and that's okay. Just slowing them down is all I needed. But imagine if you would have just, I don't know, landed an 18-meter shot. Well, at that, you know, for the artist, if the crows are too close to the survivor, they can damage them immediately. So why don't we go for the opposite of that? And if the chain was way too, it was way too in the distance, it would damage the survivors. It wouldn't chain them anymore. It would just damage. That's it. Because of how much distance it took to get to that survivor. And it's not easy. It's so hard. It's so hard to control your chain in long distances. So I don't think that change wouldn't make him that crazy, but overall he's still a solid one, and I really enjoy playing him, and not really enjoying playing against him, but as him. He's actually really fun. The next one is also a controversial pick. Something that people have been asking questions about and telling me that, what the fuck are you doing? Yeah, I get that. He's not that crazy good when you think about it. But listen, hear me out. Nightmare is easy. Let's face it, he's not that kind of a crazy killer that is just like Nurse or like those people. He's just really easy to learn. You just, every time in loops, you just put some slowdowns and that's it. You're good for, you're good for chases. The thing about Freddy is that he has some good qualities of good killers, but a shitty version of them. But for the sole fact that he has so many of those, with the addition of some weird and sometimes useful add-ons, he's not all that weak that people think. I don't know. I don't understand that. First of all, he has the ability to teleport to gens. Now, even if you don't do it, even if you fake it, still it's value. Most people just don't commit, just walk. Second, with some perks such as, Thrilling Tremors, your destination after a hook is so obvious, and that's perfect. Why won't you love your next chase after you got a hook be as soon as possible. You would love that. So imagine you hook someone, thrilling tells you that there is a gen. It doesn't even have a range. You can just go anywhere, even in really huge maps. And that's what makes Freddy so strong. Just simply holding control can take you to anywhere in the map if the gen is up. And that's why he's strong. I don't get it. I don't know why people ask me, why do you think he's strong? He is strong. He has mobility, he has good chase, and he's good chase mechanics, and given some good perks, he's just good. He's just good to go. And he has the add-ons of pallets and stuff like that. At some point in the game, survivors are going to realize that there is a pallet illusory shit, and they're going to fall for that. And that's going to be good for you. But I don't get it. And he's really easy to play. Really. Amongst all of these 10 killers that I have mentioned so far, Freddy is the easiest one. And he gets so much kills and value out of that without being all that complicated. And I love that about him. So yeah, I think he's actually a really good killer. The next one is the Pyramid Head. Now, the Pyramid Head is a kind of a killer that from the tier that I put him in, you can tell what kind he is. He is good if you are good. That's what it depends on. If you, I had a video about myself. I suck at Pyramid Head. Let me just tell you that. I'm so bad at him. The last time I played Pyramid Head, I put a video of it. It was just sad how many shots I missed. It's just sad. I'm just trying to practice and get good at him. He's really satisfying if you hit those long M2s at some point. Sorry, but if you make mistakes, Jesus, is he punishing. He's really punishing. But he saves so much time. Little by little, they just go over each other and they just get so good, so good. It's lovely to see it. You would love to. And that's what I love about him. I just created a new word, herm. I just can't, I don't know why I can't just, call people with their true nature. But anyways, he saves time. He has a good chase mechanic. He can slow you down a little bit. He creates a shitty objective at some edge of the map that sometimes it can actually hurt survivors. And that's good. I love that. And his add-ons are not that good. That's why he's not higher. But overall, due to the time savings actions and considering that time is something that killers are always struggling with, he's actually good. I like him. I suck at it, but I like it. The next one is the twins. Now, just like the tier, twins is a kind of a killer that not all people can handle. Not all people can, play as and, interact with it. The playstyle of twins is the complete opposite of what the community asks you to do. Like, everybody is, like, don't slog, don't camp, don't tunnel. Twins is just against all of that. Twins is just like, fuck you all, I'm gonna do it. And I like that about them. Actually, there are two of them. Victor gives you a lot of options on which way you play. You can make some very beautiful mind games using the Charlotte and between the other twin, the Victor. Because of the fact that there's two of them, you can actually put pressure on two parts of the map, two survivors at the same time. It's just about running and hitting and knowing as many people as possible. And at some point, they're going to make a mistake. And like you have 3 downs and there's only 1 person up. So you can just go for hooks. And now you have so much pressure on them. You can maintain that pressure. And if you do that, you're good to go. But let me tell you that it's not that easy. It's not as easy as saying it is nothing like playing it. She's hard. And she just takes some time to get used to. Her power is unique and really feared amongst all other killers. So she needs more time, and her add-ons Some of them help you out, but some of them are just, the fact that you're just so helpless after you hit or miss or anything, and there's nothing going on. It just can be sometimes frustrating, and you just don't get all that value that you needed. And sometimes the survivors just hold Victor hostage, and you just can't do shit about it. It takes an amount of time before you can actually retract him. But overall, if you're a good Twins player, stay away from me. The next killer is Demogorgon. Now, Demogorgon, may God bless his soul, is just like Freddy, in my opinion. He's really simple, straightforward, and really actually strong. I really enjoy playing him. He has a mechanic that can help him in chases, that can help him breaking pallets easier, that can help him, have some lethal actions, maybe even stop and prevent survivors from doing some stuff. And he has some portals that can help him out to go around the map. And overall, all of these things, they're just really strong things that I'm mentioning. I really enjoy them. I think that Demo needs nothing actually to be better. I think he's one of those standard killers that is not all that hard and is actually good. You can get used to it, and if you play well, you're good to go. That's all you needed. And yeah, that's about it for the Demogorgon. The next killer is the Nemesis. Now, Nemesis is kind of a double-edged sword. Every game that you count on your zombies, they do shit. And sometimes when you just don't pay attention to them, you just bam, something weird happens. They get 3 downs in 2 seconds. And his kit is actually nice due to the slight buff he got. He actually got even better. I love that, actually. His power helps him in chases, in breaking pallets, which is awesome. He saves a lot of time with that, and you have to break pallets. The only killer that doesn't have to is a nurse. So every killer has to break some pallets, and breaking them in such efficient way is something that is bonkers. It's just really strong. I love that. He's really satisfying to play. He's not all that hard to get used to. You can just land some weird shots, and sometimes he's good at chases. He can put a lot of pressure using his zombies, some good add-ons that can actually help out. And overall, he's a solid killer. He's not really crazy hard. He's not really crazy strong. He's just a standard one, but he's a good standard one. And I actually love that about the Nemesis. The next killer that we have is the Hillbilly. Now, Hillbilly is one of the killers that I don't like personally, because I'm not good at him. And at the same time, I don't enjoy playing him. Like Pyramid Head, I suck. I suck at it. I'm not good at it. I can't just, land any shots. All of my M2s go to miss. I don't even get to torment people. It's just sad if you watch me playing Pyramid Head. But with Hillbilly, it's the same deal, but it's just not enjoyable for me. At least in Pyramid Head, sometimes I just get some weird shots, and you're like, yay, it was fun. But for the Hillbilly, even if I land a chainsaw, I don't even enjoy it all that much. He needs some carves, he needs some weird plays. He has good mobility, that's something. He has an insta-down ability. With a Bamboozle, he's just much better. And considering all of these perks and shit like that, he's a good killer, don't get me wrong. But personally, I don't enjoy playing him. I don't think he's all that strong. He's just a standard one. And just because of the fact that there are some players that I really respect at, and I think they're really good at him, I just put him in this tier. But honestly, I don't think he's all that strong. He's just a very normal kind of a thing that is not that, crazy and stuff like that. The next killer is the Wraith. Now, I know last time when I put this tier list together, I put Wraith way higher than this. And this time, considering the plays in the MMR system and the things that are going on, people know how to play Wraith and how to play against him, actually. And that's bad. That's not good. Considering that, excuse me, and that alone, he has a mobility and he has a chase ability. That's it. But the thing about Wraith, something that I really enjoy, is that you are going to constantly use your power. It's something that you can actually put use. Like some killers, their ability is just bullshit, you know, just end up hitting them normally most of the time. But for Wraith, he's just so strong. And the ability is actually useful. He's really fast. His chase is good. If you go for hit and run and have the right perks, your chases are actually going to be really short, and that's good for him. He had a lot of buffs to him, and he needed those. And thanks to them, he's actually a much better killer. He used to be in shittier tiers, but now he's not that bad. But still, he's not that good. Now, the next killer that I had in mind is Legion. Now, Legion is a killer that I don't personally like, but I've had some debates and conversation with some of my subscribers and some people who just emailed me and talked about it. We had some conversations about Legion, some debates, and people have actually convinced me that he's not as bad as I think he is. Legion, his power is weird, in my opinion. It misses something. There's something that just has to be there and it's not. It can't be it, right? Why would you activate your power? You know, he's just one of those killers that when every survivor is injured, you're happy and sad at the same time. Like if they play injured the whole match, you're like, they're not going for it, man, assholes and stuff like that. They just can't play around his power. That's why I don't like him. It's not all that hard, honestly. He's just, because of the fact that he can be really strong and injuring people, multiple people, and keeping them injured, keeping them busy takes a lot of time, stuff like that. That's actually really strong. But seriously, he has a niche to him. He's just really mediocre in my opinion. He's not crazy good. He doesn't have that crazy mobility. His stun is just way too long. He can injure survivors, which is something that everybody can, but he can just do it easier, which I don't get. Wouldn't it be better if he was able to down survivors easier? I don't know, man. I don't like that. But overall, I think he's mediocre at best. Last time I put him way lower than this. But given to the, let's just say thanks to those debates I had, that changed my mind a little bit. But that's it for Legion. He's not coming higher than that. The next killer is the Trickster. Now, last time I said this, I'm gonna repeat what I said. Trickster is a strong killer, don't get me wrong. Due to the buffs and the changes that they made to him, he's actually much better now. But the thing is, because of the mechanics of the game, because of how the maps are designed, he can't never be that strong that people want him to be. Like, let's say for Huntress, if you land one hatchet, it's a damage. But for Trickster, it's way more complicated. Let's just say you have a very, very short window at a doorway, right before the survivor disappears in doorway, and you hit one knife. What happens? Nothing. And that's the bad part. Yeah, if you catch someone out in the open, Trickster can down them in a matter of seconds. But what if you don't? What if you catch them in an indoor map with a lot of doors, with a lot of shit going on around you, with a lot of walls? And he just sucks after that. He's just so weak. And because of that, as I said, because of the mechanics of the game, he cannot be just that S-tier killer that everybody expects him to be because of how fast he can down you. But people have only seen outdoor maps, montages and just videos, clips and stuff like that. But he's not that. That's not what Trickster is. The thing is, he's strong, but he's really map dependent. And also, he's really slow, so that doesn't cover up for a lot of things. He doesn't have any mobility kind of thing. Anything that Trickster has revolves around chasing and downing survivors quickly. And if the map is not smiling at you, you're gonna have a hard time. So considering that, I think that's it for the Trickster. That's as high as he possibly can get. The next one is Deathslinger. Now, this killer is... he's really weak, let's just say that. Because of the fact that he has a gun, it doesn't make him strong or anything. He's just fun, that's what he is. In one-on-ones, in chases, I get that, he's really strong. But if he gets, pressured by the survivors, by doing gens really fast, it's not going to go well for him. He's gonna have a hard time. If you miss a shot, I think he's probably the most punishing killer because it takes so much to just reload and to just hit another one. You get really slow because of the new update. If you want to aim, it just takes forever, and you would just want to put him down. It takes forever as well. There are a lot of things going on, and I don't think he's just worth it. If you want to be a good killer, and you want to just go higher and higher in MMR, Deathslinger is just not good. He's just a very, very mediocre going to down off the tier list. The only thing that he has is his chase ability, but it's even worse than the Trickster. Because for the Trickster, you can reload in lockers every once in a while, and his chases is stronger. And if you catch somebody in the open, they can't down them. But for Deathslinger, you just have to shoot them, you bring them closer, you hit them, they go into deep wound, they get a lot of distance, you have to reload. It takes forever and forever and forever. And if God forbids, if you hit a shot, and then you just won't be able to hit them, they break the chain, bruh, you're fucked. That's why he's not strong, in my opinion. And yeah. So the next killer is the Doctor. I don't know. He's weak. Like last time I put him higher than this, but I just felt weird. He's good in lower ranks. That's why people love him. A lot of people love Doctor. But considering that he just can't do all that much, yeah, he can put you in madness, but what does madness do if it's not tier 3? Come on. And the timings he requires is just so precise. I've seen a lot of people who've been screaming and vaulting a window at the same time, vaulting a pallet at the same time. You can't do them if you're fast enough, but it takes so much. The reflexes and the timings and everything is blah, blah, and the add-ons are just so complicated. They're like fucking books, dude. You just have to be reading a journal with 100 pages on it. And his main ability, the blast, has such a long cooldown, and there's been a lot of times I just blast and I have got nobody, and sometimes you just do that and there's a survivor around, so you guess that somebody's in the locker. But there are like 15 lockers. How the fuck am I supposed to find that survivor? That's a useless information. Okay, I know somebody's here. I know that they're in a locker. Yeah, that's all I know. Okay, so I have to just watch every single locker until they come out. You can't do that. And he doesn't have anything for mobility. And in chases, survivors use, if you charge, you will lose your bloodlust. Survivors know that. If they just don't drop the pallet super quickly, they can give you nightmares. And For that, I think Doctor is not that strong. You know, sometimes the games just go too good for him, but he's not viable. And if you don't play him well, if you don't do those precise timings, his punishment is just for you. He's going to go into punish mode to catch you this time. Now, the next one is the ghost face. Ghostface is not good. Some add-ons have been changed. Some of his base kit has changed. I know that. But it's just... I don't know what to say about him. I don't hate him. I love playing as Ghostface. He's fun. But, you know, sometimes you just get your ability canceled like this. It's super stupid. And, you need to use that in chases, and there is nothing, there is no accomplishment when you hit a survivor who's exposed, or if you mark someone. For every killer you get some points. Like, I don't know, if you I don't know, man. He just needs help, I think, because, you know, your power when you're at it, if you miss, if you get stunned, if you get revealed, if you hit someone, if you down someone, there's no difference. All of these 5 things have the same results. And that's bad. That's horrible. If you get stunned, that's your fault. You made a mistake and you deserve to be punished. But if you down someone, don't you deserve to just get a portion of your power? Something like that? Or, I don't know, dude. He needs help. He's a stealthy killer, and that's good. I like that. But that's it for the most part. That's it. He's just a stealthy killer. And he can insta down you, but a lot of people run spine chill. And even if they don't, how many times can he catch you off guard? Like the first time he marks someone, after that, everybody's going to be mindful about what is going on around them. All the fucking time. And for that, I don't know, man. He's really mediocre, in my opinion. And I'm really frustrated right now because I actually like Ghostface. But I don't think he's up for the job. And I wish he was, but I genuinely don't think he is. The next killer is Bubba. Now, Bubba has... his power is really annoying for everyone. It has something annoying for everyone. First of all, the noise he makes, embarrassing. They're annoying, dude. Every time he does it, okay, I get it, you're in pain. Stop yelling at me. And his power is just too punishing, and it's just not that good. Like, let's say, okay, you miss a shot with Huntress, you take another one. And that's okay. His power, Huntress's power is punishing for a reason, because it's good. But for Cannibal, if God forbids you bump into things while your chainsaw is active, holy shit, are you in trouble. And especially if you have those shit add-ons that give you an advantage, but instead your tantrum is going to be even longer. Holy Jesus, he's just a goof. The only usage that I can see in Bubba is basement camping. That's all, seriously. His power doesn't give him shit mobility. He can break some pallets, he can be good in chases if you're out in the open, but things happen, dude, you make mistakes, and he's just not all enjoyable. He can damage multiple survivors, he can be an asshole, he can camp hooks, he can catch people right off the hook, even if they have BT. He's good in all that, but every killer is, right? The insta down, I mean, he's better than, his ability can damage multiple survivors, unlike Billy, but Billy gets a massive speed boost while he does that. But Bubba actually starts with a slower speed than survivors while revving, and after he does, he gains some speed and then he gets faster. But there are a lot of pallets, there are a lot of windows, there are a lot of problems that you're going to face, and for all that, he's not that good. And I think he deserves this spot. The last killer in this tier is Trapper. God, it feels so good when I trap. Here. Okay. I'm so excited. Trapper is my favorite killer, if you didn't know. Because he's so satisfying. And thanks to the latest update, thank you. Trapper now has 2 traps in his base kit. He doesn't have to necessarily always bring those shitty add-ons, and those add-ons has actually changed. And his new add-ons are just crazy good, actually. I really love them. Considering that, now only thing the Trapper needs is just good trap placement. He's a territorial clear, and if you manage to do that, if you manage to set up a territory for yourself and lure survivors into that territory, your chases are just going to be like that. Very quick, very lethal, and I love that. For that alone, he's actually good at loops, really good at loops, especially in the loops that survivors just, you just have to make them keep guessing where your traps are. You can't be predictable. Yeah, sometimes you get a value out of one trap, but always go for the worst perception and imagine that there is Swift. So now that trap is actually absolutely useless because the next time the survivors are going to be mindful about it. Considering that, I think you should get creative in your games. Hide your traps, use add-ons, tar bottle is actually really strong. And stuff like that with other add-ons. Now actually Trapper can be viable. And I love that. Actually, I would have preferred it to be base kit, but the add-on, the brown one, that can help you go through your traps without getting caught, but in return the trap will be closed. It's actually really good, dude. It's actually worth it. Sometimes you just survivors dead hard through a shitty trap, and you're fucked, dude. It's just rough after that. But considering these changes, which are actually really good changes, Trapper is actually in a much better place. And for that alone, I think he deserves this spot. He has earned it. The next killer, which is for the makes you cry tier, is the Clown. Now, because all of you were bitching about the Clown's placement and telling me that he's better than what I think, I'm gonna put him a little bit higher, but that's it. I'm not gonna put him in the next tier. Clown has a chase ability that can cause survivors to be slower. His add-ons are actually really good. That's the only reason I think he can be viable. He has 2 bottles. One of them speeds him up and survivors if they go through it, and one of them slows down survivors, not you. That would be hilarious if it would have slowed you down too, Jesus. And you only have 4 bottles in your base kit. That's my first problem with Clown. Clown's reload speed is shitty, dude. It's horrible. Like, literally, Deathslinger's reload catches you and brings you to the Deathslinger and injures deep wound you. But for Clown, and it just takes 2 seconds to reload. Clown, he has blah blah. He just has to, rotate the bottle a million times, and it just takes 5 seconds, and you are super slow. It's like that, how heavy is the bottle that you just have to go that slow, dude? Come on. If you miss your bottles due to the fact that you don't have many, you're fucked. If you use your bottles to get some mobility to go around the map, bad news, when you get there, you need to reload again because you don't have bottles anymore. His ability is supposed to help him in chases. It's not. Like, he's a very weaker Pinhead. He can slow you down in loops, and that's it. Pinhead has the box, has some shit. You can find the box, you can put a lot of pressure, you can tunnel the survivor, and once you do, the game is much harder because there is a second objective in the game. But Clown has none of that. He just has a new kind of bottle. He's not good. he's just really, if you play him super well, you might win, but still, why would you? You know, it depends on the survivors a lot, and that's bad. The next killer is, is the pig. The pig has also received some changes to her base kit. To her add-ons. She actually has some really cool and interesting add-ons now that I really enjoy. I made a specific video about add-ons and changes in my channel. I'm gonna put it up here, you can watch it. For that alone, I think she's really nice. She's really strong because of the add-ons, but without add-ons, she just looks really weak. Her add-ons can actually change her to a DC tier maybe because they're really strong, but if you don't, we're talking about without add-ons right now. Add-ons are just an option. We want the base kit to be strong. The pig is not, because it's lock dependent. I still go for my last changes that I suggested to the pig. First, if a trap hasn't even been enabled and a survivor removes it, you can retract the trap. Pig just gets it. And if a survivor removes the trap in their first attempt, the second survivor cannot do so. They need to go for at least 2 searches. I don't know, one of the survivors. It should be random so that it's fair. So not every survivor can get it off in the first try. That's bullshit. That's not fair. Because she has this amazing power that can put a lot of pressure on the survivors, but then they just go and hit 3 skill checks and boom, it's off. And she has 0 now. She has lost all of her traps. So now, the only thing that she had is her shitty dash that causes her to be super slow and not all that strong. And that's it. She just hits survivors. Bam, bam, bam. Okay, where's the power? No, it's not. It's out of there. None of the killers runs out of things. They can just reload. But for the pig, you just run out of them. Okay, I guess I just lose. That's bad. So if you activate a trap, you set a trap and it doesn't activate, you should just retract it. Come on, it's not that crazy. She deserves that. Come on. But the dash is mediocre, the power is so RNG dependent, and that's why she's just not good. The last killer is the shape. Why does shape suck? Okay. He runs out of his power usually, just like pig. But the thing is, it takes way too long, and I haven't actually ran out of it, never. It's just, on paper, you can actually run out of it, but it doesn't happen. With pig, it happens all the time. But for shape, it doesn't really happen, usually, because either you have lost super bad, or you have beat them super hard. The thing is that, yeah, shape gets really strong in her tier 3. In his tier 3. It's good, but it takes too long, first off. And there are a lot of resources in the map that can just stop shape. And if you believe that shape is an unstoppable killing machine, you need to make his tier 3 more interesting and viable, in my opinion. Simply being exposed is just going to make them panic. But if you would have changed his power, like if it was a little bit harder for shape to get to tier 3, but in return, the effect would be just massive, like, I don't know, 60% faster vaulting speed, breaking, pallets like 30% faster for a short amount of time, stuff like that. That would be just better. But this, as we're looking at it, is really mediocre. His add-ons are fun. That's the best part about shape. His add-ons are super fun. But that's it. He hasn't changed a bet in years. He needs that. I really hope that the devs have some plans for Michael, but if they don't, Michael is just so average, so below average actually. He's tier 3, he's just something really, his tier 2 is bullshit basically. So he starts the game with a massive disadvantage, and it's not even for a good reason. I don't get it. Why does he have to be so weak when the game starts? If the survivors don't let you... And also, another problem, what the fuck is going on with the stocking system? Why do you need a master's degree to calculate how much have you stocked them? Like, you stock them, bam, you pop tier 3 and you're like about 20 meters away from them. What's going on with that? That's a shitty one. I think it should be much simpler. And I don't know, like every hook, he starts the game in tier 2. That's it, no tier 1 anymore. And every time he hooks, he gets a portion of something feeling. He just feels more eager to kill. And then he activates the tier 3. It needs skill instead of just holding your right button, just looking at people like that. And also, the outcome can be better. It can be stronger. What the fuck is this? This is bullshit. Just change it. Yeah, that's it. Come on. That's it about this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I don't know if you agree with me or disagree with me, and that's why you should tell me in the comment section right down below. Let's have a debate, shall we? I think this is my opinion. This tier list, I think these killers actually belonged to the places that I put them at, but your opinion is very well welcomed. I would love to hear all about them. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe, leave a like, and also a comment. It really helps me out. And thank you so much for watching, and have a nice one, everyone.